Hello, Internet. Daniel Driving and Dragons, and I'm back today with something for independent TTRPG month. What this is I'm a busy professional with one group that is a group of busy professionals, and I'm not sitting here making money off of publishing game books and running YouTube channels and that sort of thing. So when it comes to reviewing games, I can't do it in a timely enough fashion to where TTRPG month would be much more than what I'm going to do with Colonies and Conquerors, which is focus on one game and different aspects of it to try and do it a little bit of justice and give you some meaningful information. So I got to thinking, how about I do things in a way that speaks to most of us? What is it like if you just go browsing drive-through RPG and take a look at some independent games and what sticks out and catches your eye? So today, I'm going to jump through and I'm going to run through 5 free core rule books that you can pick up for sci-fi tabletop role-playing games off of drive-through RPG. See you on the other side. So I tried to think about this from the perspective of the good old days, when you'd walk into your local game store or comic book store, and they'd have 4 rows of shelves, and 3 rows are filled with Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons, and then you got a couple of shelves on one aisle that are dedicated to your Chaosiums and your Artelsaurians, and all of your publishers that have games that have caught on and have national distribution, but are not anything close to a Dungeons and Dragons or even a Warhammer 40K or anything like that. And you'd sit there, and on that bottom right-hand corner shelf, right on the floor, there's those 6 or 7 books that are the local guy who got a small publisher to do a single run, or the guy who managed to get some distribution but they're not paying for shelf space, and the owner of the shop got these books at a big discount or for free if he bought these other Dungeons and Dragons supplements from the distributor. And you pick it up and you flip over and you look at the cover, you take a look at that blurb on the back, and maybe that's the birth of a new tabletop role-playing game craze, or just some more stories for you as a player and as a game master. And that experience is kind of dead. The internet has done some great things. It has done great things for independent creators by bringing about things like Kickstarter, by social media allowing the word to get out, and by the game designers for these independent games to be able to self-publish. However, on the other hand, it's also done some not so great things, like you don't have that shelf anymore. You go to drive-through RPG and you start looking through core rule books, you are going to be buried in 5 or 6 editions of Dungeons and Dragons, tons of different Call of Cthulhu books, Travelers, all these big publishers that have presence and have push, and these are the ones that get kind of buried through the more traditional avenues of publishing, even online. So what I did is to kind of replicate that experience. I went to drive-through RPG. I said, I'm going to find myself a sci-fi setting game that I can play the old school way. What catches my eye? So I set it to free. What games are available for free download as PDF? I set it to the sci-fi genre and core rule books only, and started perusing the shelves to see what caught my eye. What could I play for free to bring a new independent tabletop role-playing game to my group? The only real thing I did that would be maybe a little different is I made sure that I took a quick glance and I excluded things that outright said, hey, this is an adaptation of, this is a D20 system game, this is designed to plug and play your Traveler campaign, this is designed to be used with Call of Cthulhu or whatever the case may be. This is a cyberpunk adjustment. I cut those out because they really only work well as they're basically just a glorified campaign setting that has some quick start rules attached to it. And that's the second thing that I avoided quick start rules. I don't need a teaser adventure, teaser jumpstart kit, or something that is for a $60 book. I'm looking for a free game. So that's the only real weeding that I did that maybe just a regular shopper wouldn't. So I dove into free, independent, full game PDFs in the sci-fi genre on DriveThruRPG, and these are the 5 that just stuck out to me. One quick caveat before I get started with the first book. These are not any kind of in-depth reviews. I'm going off of the blurb. I downloaded one of them because it really stuck out that much to me. But I didn't download the PDFs, read the game files, try and do some kind of tabletop review on these. This is literally, these ones stuck out to me. And we're like, that one's probably worth a download if I'm looking for a sci-fi game. The first one is Beyond the Stars, published by Alex M. This is a far future tabletop role-playing game, and when I say far future, he says that this is after humanity's descendants have colonized the entire Milky Way. Not only have they colonized the entire Milky Way and started the colonization of new galaxies and that sort of thing, but things have come back and started to regress in on themselves to where that advanced form of humanity, the evolutionary descendants of the humans, are now kind of rediscovering a humanity as if it were an ancient race that no longer exists. The blurb itself says it is a rules-light setup containing a variety of mechanics to fill a colorful sci-fi world. You play as the descendants of humanity exploring a familiar civilization built in the shadows of highly advanced humans that have long since vanished. That sticks out to me. It's got tools in it for generating dungeons, generating encounters, generating names and other content, which is fantastic. It really helps with the story. That would really help with storyline immersion. And not only that, if you did choose to use this beyond, say, a one-shot campaign or a test, it's got some tools that can be adapted to use in your regular game as well. Like these name generators, dungeon generators, get you a little bit of different flair. As a whole, it sounds like the kind of game that I would want to play. And the thing that really grabbed my eyes, the thing that made me jump and click on this Beyond the Stars game immediately, was the cover art. I know it's PDF, so this will be printed out by me, I guess, but it has that quintessential 1970s paperback sci-fi book cover look to it. It looks like it could be Children of the Lens or Discworld or something, and that just really popped to me. It pulled all the right nostalgia strings for a sci-fi adventure, especially a light sci-fi adventure that's more about discovery and remembering a past that's our future, as opposed to pew 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 laser beams running all over the place. So Beyond the Stars, that's the first one that I took a look at. It really did stick out to me. The next thing that came up to me is the first one on the category of what I'd call copyright infringing rip-off games. And this is not to jump on old Philip Miranda, who is the publisher of this, but it's Atom Punk, a Fallout-inspired lasers and feelings hack. It is a hack of the one-page RPG Lasers and Feelings, so super light rules, super easy to jump into. It's basically somebody who's taken what was already a rules light version and scaled it back to make it even more rules light. It is a shameless Fallout plugin. It has the Apple II old school computer green screen graphics of the pinup style girl riding a nuclear bomb. It's like I said, very much borders on the line there of some copyright infringement. But hey, you get a free PDF that includes extra tables, oracles for the GMs, maps, generators, tons of plot hooks, all kinds of cool stuff that you can put in there, ways to build your world. And while the Bethesda lawyers might be on the hunt for this guy right now, because he is very much on the border of legally distinct. It is something that has some utility, and hey, it's free. And if that's the aesthetic you're looking for, and you don't want to pay for the Fallout role-playing game right now, you want to dip your toe in for little to no cost with a one-page rule set, Adam Punk looks like it might be the way to go. The next one kind of goes back and hits me the same way that Beyond the Stars did. This is Salient Hershon was the publisher of Straight to Video. Now, Straight to Video, this one stuck out. I mean, it is such an 80s look. It's the pink triangle with the baby blue stripe behind it, and then the half moon in purple with the italicized yellow font lettering to tell us about this RPG of the dirty action movies. As the blurb says, it's a fast and dirty RPG of action movies, not necessarily the good ones, not the groundbreakers, but the cheap, cheerful, and fun movies that rode in the wake of the big budget originals. It's in sci-fi, but it is setting agnostic, where it could be sword and sorcery, it could be fantasy, as it says, less than epic galactic adventures, with casts of tens, or spy thrillers, less high-tech and super spy than the director wanted. All the kind of little fun things on those little movies that were so bad they were good. 34-page book that includes rules, adventure outlines, character sheets, everything you could possibly want, and you get it all for free. And the kind of tongue-in-cheek, that kind of tongue-in-cheek, straight-to-video, self-deprecating look and theme sings a lot to me as a player and as a game master, because every game master who's ever sat down at a table has watched their table descend into an hour-long volley of movie quotes from Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, or Chuck Norris, and has had entire game sessions derailed by constant Monty Python references. Why not just make that? Why not make that the feature and not the bug? So Straight to Video, that one stuck out to me in a big way. The next one is on the opposite end of the spectrum, and that is 6083 The Alliance Market by Jason Oberman. 6083 The Alliance Market, I took a quick look through this one, and it is the complete opposite of your Straight to Video. The blurb is not irreverent. It is clean and it is professional, which is part of the reason why jumping into this, it really sings to me. If I'm looking for sci-fi, I've got the black book cover with a handful of stars. And then I've got the hard font 6083 with the strike through. And the only thing in the center of the book is a chrome emblem of a phoenix that looks exactly like the kind of thing that I would see stamped on the side of a Confederate battle star cruiser or some star battleship or something. It screams sci-fi. First line, 6083 is an original tabletop role-playing game set in the far-flung future. You play as elite military operatives who are tasked with the protection and safety of the citizens of the Central Alliance of Planets. Nothing else special. Download the free PDF if you want to read more of the lore. It's got your lore. It's got, spaceship design, space combat rules, gear, powered armor, all the fun stuff that you could want to make a future setting sci-fi tabletop role-playing game for you and your table. And if you like it with the free PDF, they got print-on-demand versions and hardcover editions that have more art and additional features, but you still get the entire game on PDF with all the tables, all the charts, several illustrations, just everything that it's offering. If it delivers on half of what it offers in its blurb, it's going to be a seriously meaningful thing. And we're going to know for sure because this is one that I actually downloaded. It looked clean enough and good enough to me that I'm like, I'm downloading this, even though the chances of me switching from Cyberpunk Red to something else in the near future are very, very slim with my group. So it stood out to me enough that I'm like, hey, this is worth the download, especially for free. So 6083, the Alliance Market, definitely one that you need to check out. And it stuck out and it caught my eye. The last one hits just another little sci-fi tick for me. And another tabletop role-playing game tick for me. This one was by SM Noble, and it's Starhold, a space-themed survival horror role-playing game. There's a couple of big things that stick out to me about this. One, once again, we have that super short and sweet, no need to gild the lily, 3 or 4 sentence blurb telling you what you're buying. Starhold is a game about survival. You play a group of spacers struggling on the fringes of the last great frontier, scraping by in a cold universe. Out here, even the smallest mistake can mean extinction, and help is a long, long way away. Pick your spacers, map your base, buckle in. It's going to be a hell of a ride. It tells you what you're looking for. This is what you want for your Halloween-themed game. You download this for free, you spend some time studying everybody, you tell your players, hey, we're going to take a departure. Let's do something a little different. Halloween one-shot. Let's put down these fantasy RPG books. We're going to do some space sci-fi. How's that sound? You bring them in, and what do they? When you say sci-fi RPG, what are they expecting? Pew, 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 laser beam, battleship, Han Solo, Millennium Falcon. No, we're putting your butt in the Covenant and launching your butt out to the edge of the galaxy where no one can hear you scream. You're going into dead space. You're going to be on the Prometheus. You're going to be riding along an Alien when everything is dark and you're being hunted alone. It gives you 2 handbooks, a light mode and a dark mode. Till I finish reading the PDF, because this is another one I downloaded, I'm sure not going to know what light and dark mode are, but you know what my guess is? I'm thinking of those aesthetics of those 80s sci-fi movies. I'm thinking of Alien, where everything's dark, where it's a very industrial, like you're on a submarine with the power out type feeling. Everything's super claustrophobic and dark. And then on the other hand, I'm thinking about the Corellian Corvette that Darth Vader walks into in the beginning of A New Hope. Stark white and everything's visible. Or any number of other sci-fi settings where everything is super, super sterile to give you this wide open, inviting, bright future feel when you know that horror is going to happen inside those walls. It's got other stuff that says 8 playable PDF or playbook PDFs for easy printing. I don't know if that means there's 8 adventures, which would be amazing to give away 8 adventures in there for free. Especially if you're talking about the horror genre, because survival horror is not the kind of thing that's usually easy to do in 1 or 2 pages. Or that might be playbooks for different character classes or character types to make things easier. It's got mapping, quick gear reference guides, a README file, a reference for both the game master and a reference for the player. And those are going to be the kind of things that make it easier for you to plug and play and to get that group to want to learn a new game, as opposed to having to worry about the whole, well, I don't want to learn something new, that takes time, that takes effort. If it's going to give you tools to help you get people to learn how to play the game, all the better. That's the 5 that popped out to me. Beyond the Stars, Atom Punk, Straight to Video, 6083, The Alliance Market, and Starhold. Why don't you do the same? Tell me in the comment section below what sticks out to you and why. And hey, these games are free. If you download and play one, let me know. If you've already played one, let me know. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know. Maybe they're all garbage. Maybe they're all the best sci-fi games that money can buy and you get them for free. But give them a shot. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment below for the algorithm. And I'll see you guys next time when I take a look at historical games.